You call everybody. It doesn't appear to be. Yeah. Where do you end up going? Northwest Arkansas.
Other one for B.
Yep.
Unmute, I'll talk to her.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
we're unable to see you, unless we can't add you as a panelist on here. So if we can't see you, unfortunately, we won't be able to count your vote. So if we
Yeah,
can't
I'm trying to get the camera to work, but it has me at the bottom as attendee and not panelist. So I don't know, there's not a button for me to access to turn on the camera.
Yeah, we have to add you on this end. For some reason, we can't add you to make you a panelist.
Is there another link that I need to utilize or?
Instead of having this conversation on this meeting, could you give me your phone number and then I'll have IT give you a call?
Sure, 501-960-7390.
Thank you. They'll call you in a minute.
Okay.
I'd also like to talk to Commissioner Thomas about an extended car warranty, so I'll call her as well.
Oh, perfect. Ready to rock and roll? Okay. Let's go ahead and get started. This is the October 14th Little Rock Planning Commission meeting. So if you're here to go to Las Vegas, you're in the wrong airport. Okay, can we start off with that roll call vote?
Craig Berry.
Here.
Earl Baton. Derek Brooks. Present. Scott Hamilton.
Present.
Todd Hart.
Here.
Marlon Haynes.
Here.
Robbie Rahman.
Present.
Diana Thomas. Michael Vickers.
Diana Thomas is present, but I can't turn my camera on yet.
Robbie Vogel.
Here.
You get my name?
We got you.
Please. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. I have a quorum. Okay, at this moment, is there any conversation or comments about the minutes from last meeting? If none, we'll entertain a motion for approval of the minutes from last meeting.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion, a second. Can we get a roll call vote?
Berry.
Aye.
Benton.
Aye.
Brooks.
Aye.
Hamilton.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Haynes.
Aye.
Rahman.
Aye.
Thomas. Vickers.
Aye.
Vogel.
Yes.
You have it passes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I guess at this moment, we'll move into our consent agenda.
Following is a consent agenda for Little Rock Planning Commission, October 14, 2021. You have 4 items on consent deferral. First is item A, file number Z5817K, Cantrell West Retail Center, PCD, 15122 Cantrell Road. The applicant failed to send the required notifications to surrounding property owners. Therefore, the application needs to be deferred to the November 18th, 2021 agenda. Item D, LU 2021-1904, Land Use Plan Amendment from Office to Commercial, southeast corner of Chenal Parkway and Chenal Valley Drive. And item D.1, Z9606, a rezoning from MF 24 and 02 to C3 and C1, southeast corner of Chenal Parkway and Chenal Valley Drive. The applicant has informed staff that he's working with the neighborhood representatives to resolve issues associated with the proposed rezoning. Therefore, staff recommends that items D and D.1 be deferred to November 18th, 2021 agenda. Item 10, S1906, Morning Subdivision Replat, northwest corner of Beechwood Street and B Street. The applicant failed to send the required notifications to abutting property owners as required. Therefore, the application needs to be deferred to the November 18th, 2021 agenda. Next are the items on the consent agenda for approval. Item C, file number Z9605, a rezoning from R2 to C1, northwestern corner of Canis Road and Denny Road. The applicant submitted a letter to staff on September 29th, 2021, amending the rezoning application. The applicant is now requesting a rezoning from R2 to C1 neighborhood commercial instead of the previously requested C3. The city's future land use plan designates this property as NC neighborhood commercial. This requested C1 conforms with the future land use plan designation, and staff supports the revised application and recommends approval. Item 1, G23480, Polk Street, partial right-of-way abandonment adjacent to 5424 Country Club Boulevard. Staff recommends approval of the abandonment request of the 15-foot by 140-foot portion of Polk Street, located adjacent to Lot 8, Block 9, Newton's Addition, subject to retaining a 10-foot wide sewer easement running east-west across the north end of the abandonment area for an existing 8-inch sewer main. Item 2, G23479, West 2nd Street and Alley, partial right-of-way abandonment, adjacent to and within Block 5, Union Depot Addition, located at West 2nd Street and South Battery Street. Staff recommends approval of the requested right-of-way abandonment subject to the following conditions: compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E of the staff analysis, and the entire area of abandonment must be retained as a utility and drainage easement. Item 3, S867M9, Chenal Valley Phase 18L preliminary plat, south side of Shalamont Drive at Corral Circle. Staff recommends approval of the proposed plat and associated variances subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report. Item 4, S1585B, Port 440 Industrial preliminary plat, 8,000 Fraser Pike. Staff recommends approval of the proposed preliminary plat and associated variances subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report. Item 5, S1904, O&O subdivision preliminary plat, south side of Denny Road within the 23,000 block. Staff recommends approval of the proposed preliminary plat subject to compliance with the following conditions: compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report, and a construction permit for the installation of septic systems on all lots must be obtained from the Arkansas Department of Health prior to completion of a final plat for this subdivision. Item number 6, Z9617, Miller Bed and Breakfast Special Use Permit, 5720 Woodlawn Drive. Staff recommends approval of the requested SUP to allow a bed and breakfast, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report. Item number 7, Z4940C, Rand Management Convenience Store Conditional Use Permit, 13624 Vimy Ridge Road. Staff recommends approval of the requested CUP subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D, E, and F and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report. Item number 8, Z9615, Pit Stop Barbecue Private Club, PDC, 5506 Baseline Road. Staff recommends approval of the requested PDC zoning to allow private clubs subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report. Item number 9, Z9018A, a rezoning from C3 to C4, 4700 South University. Staff recommends approval of the requested C4 rezoning. And item 11, PB 2021-01, planning boundary amendment, either side of Fraser Pike, north of Harper Road, within sections 34 and 35, Township 1 North, Range 11 West. Staff believes the expansion is reasonable and recommends approval. That concludes the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you for those. Let's see, any questions from any of the commissioners? Okay, certainly.
Commissioner, on item Z9615, is this going to be adjacent to where this barbecue pit stop is already located, or is that a separate?
No, this is one and the same business. It's an existing business that's already there. And basically all they're doing is just adjusting their hours of operation.
What are those hours? Do you know? Do we know?
They're extending their hours by 2 hours by 1 hour later on Saturday night to 2 a.m. and 2 hours later on Sunday night, just 3 hours total net.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'd make a motion, we approve the consent agenda subject to staff comments.
Okay, got a motion, how about a second?
Second.
Motion and second, can we have a roll call vote?
Berry,
Aye.
Benton,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Haynes,
Aye.
Ramon,
Yes.
Vickers,
Aye.
Vogel.
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas is here.
Oh, Thomas,
Yes.
it passes.
Okay, thank you.
10-0.
No, okay, great. Okay, so if you're here in the audience today and your item was in the consent agenda, you're welcome to go, or you can certainly stick around. The flight to Vegas leaves in about 40 minutes. Okay, I see, Director Collins, I don't know that we've got anything on the regular agenda at this point, or?
Mr. Chair, we have item B.
Item B, okay, just item B,
Agenda,
okay.
which is the Pleasant Run subdivision preliminary plat, file S-1900. Before I go into the staff report, I'd like to ask if the applicant is here.
I'm Kristen Phillips from Richardson Engineering representing the applicant.
Okay, awesome.
My name is Kristen Phillips. I work with Richardson Engineering representing Mr. Jeff Quo in the Pleasant Run subdivision.
Mr. Chair, we pulled this off the consent agenda because you have one card in opposition, and then there are two Webex attendees that requested to attend.
Okay, great.
So I'll go forward with a staff analysis. The applicant proposes to subdivide 10.92 acres into 4 lots for single-family residential development. The property is zoned R2, is located at the northeast corner of Walnut Cove Road and Burlingame Road. The property is currently undeveloped and partially tree covered. The property is located outside the Little Rock city limits, but within the city's extraterritorial zoning and subdivision jurisdiction. The proposed lots will range in size from 2.07 acres to 3.48 acres. The lots will be final platted in one phase. The detention pond area for the subdivision is located between lots 3 and 4. It's approximately 0.43 of an acre in size. An access easement from Walnut Grove Road to the detention pond area is provided on the plat. Section 31210E1 of the city's subdivision ordinance requires that residential lots take no direct access from arterial streets. Walnut Grove Road and Burlingame Road are both classified as arterials. Therefore, the applicant is requesting a variance from this requirement. Lots 1 and 3 will take access from Walnut Grove Road, and lots 2 and 4 will take access from Burlingame. The driveways will be located at least 300 feet back from the intersecting rights-of-way. A no-access easement will be provided along the west and south boundaries of the overall property, again within 300 feet of the intersecting rights-of-way. The applicant is also requesting a variance from section 31232B, which requires that a residential lot be no more than 3 times deep as it is wide. Lot 4 has a lot width of approximately 149.91 feet along the Burlingame Road frontage and an average width of 202 201.25 feet, with a lot depth of 679.31 feet along its west boundary. Staff supports this variance request that is relatively minor in nature. Since the overall property is located outside the city limits, a construction permit for the installation of septic systems on all lots must be obtained from the Arkansas Department of Health prior to completion of a final plat for this subdivision. To staff's knowledge, there are no outstanding issues related to this preliminary plat request. The applicant's done a good job in addressing issues raised during staff's review of this plat, and staff believes the subdividing of this property should have no adverse impact on the surrounding properties. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the proposed plat and associated variances, subject to compliance with the comments and conditions outlined in paragraphs D and E and the staff analysis of the agenda staff report.
Okay, let's see, is the applicant present by chance?
I don't believe Mr. Quo is here.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. So if you could state your name and go ahead and share with us a little bit about the project.
Okay, so my name is Kristen Phillips. I work with Richardson Engineering, like I said, here representing Mr. Quo and the Pleasant Run subdivision. A little bit about the project. Mr. Quo owns, it's a little over 10 acres there. He's wanting to subdivide into 4 parcels. We don't believe it's going to have any adverse impact on any traffic in the area, being that it's only 4 lots and they're relatively large in size. They will both have, all of them will have septic tanks and well water for their utilities. As far as drainage goes on the project, we've designed a detention pond to reduce the amount of post-developed runoff from the houses and driveways and such to below pre-developed conditions. And that's pretty much all the project. You know, it's just subdividing a 10-acre parcel into 4 lots that are abutting existing roads. You know, we're not building any infrastructure except for the detention pond. And that's about it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, the one card you have, that gentleman has left and said he wanted his card pulled.
Okay, all right, so we'll be pulling this card. Yeah, we just have 1 card. Okay, as there are no other cards, or I don't think anyone on Webex at this point, or do we have any Webex attendees? We do. Okay, I see you 2. Looks like the first one is Ron Johnston.
Ron Johnston, who owns the property right next to this development. And the biggest concern we have is he owns just under 11 acres plus Ron's 1 acre. That's 12 acres. Put in 5 septic systems and 5 wells because there is no city water and there is no firm plan for city water anytime soon. So how are we going to be assured that with that much development going on, that the Ron's existing well will not be contaminated, plus additional wells? The other concern we have is the detention pond. Are they required to do the detention pond, or will they end up in the project just writing a check to the county and let them handle it?
We are required to do a detention pond. We have to construct the detention pond before we can file for final plat. And there's only 4 lots. There's not 5. I believe we checked to make sure we would have adequate spacing between our septic facilities and wells to make sure that there wouldn't be any adverse impact on those. I think it's like 150 feet between a well and a septic tank,
So
if I'm not mistaken.
Did you perform any tests then? Because we don't remember you coming out and testing his well or septic, looking at his land. So, I mean, that's our biggest concern is what would happen if all of a sudden his well is contaminated due to your project?
Go ahead.
I don't believe he is.
Chair, if I may, we're supposed to hear from the applicant and then hear from anybody in opposition, and then we bring the applicant back to address those concerns, not at every question or concern raised for procedure. Although that's our procedure, operation, and our bylaws.
Jamie, I had
would
another
suggest
question.
that we keep in that same process for all items.
And Jamie, I had another question. This is a preliminary plat review, right?
Yes, it is.
So are these questions that he's asking something that needs to be required on a preliminary plat?
Yes, it has been, some of those questions raised and concerns that I've heard so far, and we haven't heard the other WebEx. In setting of the standards, we have seen rural subdivisions that are required to have a well or a septic system installed that is brought up to the Planning Commission for consideration, but at that time, conditions are placed that they have to meet the Arkansas Department of Health standards for both of those for the placement, and if they can't, then the lot has to be reconfigured. So it is a condition placed on the plat.
Okay, so with that, yeah, let's move on to the second WebEx. It is, okay, so Mr. Bellin's not present. Okay, applicant, you certainly can respond to any of the questions that were presented, or if there's any additional information that you'd like to share.
Okay, we have not had the health department out there to do these tests yet with the DR. But like he said, that is required on us to get that done before we can final plat any of these lots. So at this time, there's not been any.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Our vote on this is not contingent upon the health department. That he has to do that by statute anyway. Right? He has to have the health department, it has to go anyway to go forward, but this vote is not contingent upon that. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, but this is a preliminary plat.
That's correct.
And so those, correct me if I'm wrong, but those approvals that the health department would give or not give would come at the installation of the well and the septic. And if it weren't done up to health department standards, they wouldn't be permitted. So this is not out of the ordinary. This is very typical approval of a preliminary plat, subject to a whole bunch of things that have to happen before final approval is given, right?
That is correct. We will require written approval from the health department on the water and a construction permit for the septic system prior to us signing the final plat, which officially subdivides the property at that point.
Hello, this is Commissioner Thomas. One of the requirements he mentioned that he has to do a retention pond. After the retention pond is constructed, who inspects that?
We do. Commissioner Thomas, if you kind of reverberate a little bit, I'm going to restate the question. I believe he is asking, when the detention pond gets installed, who comes and inspects that to make sure that it is complete? That's correct. We do. That is part of the zoning, and we will have to do that to make sure that it was installed.
Okay, any other commissioner comments or questions? Hearing none, we can entertain a motion for approval.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the item subject to all staff comments.
Okay, motion approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Yeah, if we can get a roll call vote.
Berry,
Aye.
Benton,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Rahman,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Vickers,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
It passes 10-0.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think, because item D has been pulled, correct?
That was your only item on regular.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, at this moment, we've got time for citizens' comments, and I believe Ms. Valerie Tatum, you wanted to speak on item Z 9615. That was on the consent agenda, but certainly share with us your thoughts.
Hello, everyone. I am Valerie Tatum, and I do appreciate the opportunity to be able to come before you today. Also, kudos to Mr. Brooks for speaking up regarding Z 9615. I'm so glad that I was in support of that. We had an opportunity, Southwest Community and Business, we had the opportunity to speak with Juan Rosade, something of that nature. But anyway, there was another in addition to his application where there was going to be some lag in his hours, but I believe we oversighted the mixed drinks that he's going to sell. And of course, we did not have a problem with that either. Today, I'm just standing before you because the Southwest Little Rock Community and Business, we sent an email to the commissioners, and we've asked and asked and asked, and we are willing to meet you just about anywhere at this point because just a simple oversight today. My card, I wanted to speak, it was left on the table. And so I just wonder, and I would imagine others that are watching, how are we actually navigating the course of what's going to happen in Southwest Little Rock? I simply love Southwest Little Rock. I'm a former educator of 34 years. And every time that I email Jamie, I believe his eyes just kind of roll to the back of his head. And he's like, that's that girl again. But I'm simply excited about moving into Southwest Little Rock very, very soon. I love it. It's where my heartbeat is. And so we're here today along with Ms. Perry and a couple of others that are watching. We want to meet with you. I understand that you're doing this on a volunteer basis. Guess what? As a neighborhood association president, I'm doing it on a volunteer basis. Miss Legion Hutt, Miss Perry, she's doing it on a volunteer basis. So I'm here to just echo the sentiments of Southwest Community and Business to say you're voting in things that we may not agree or we do agree with, but guess what? We want to have a voice, a huge voice, in helping you make decisions and what's going on in Southwest Little Rock. So again, I do appreciate your time, what you're doing, and thank you for having your boots on the ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other citizens' comments this evening? Hearing none, I think we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
I think we have two motions. How about a second?
Second.
All right. Double move, second and third and fourth. I don't know that we need a vote. Meeting adjourned.
Man.
Oh, man.
Motion.
Save them for the playoffs tonight. Cardinals, sorry to say.